Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to talk about camp hosting and the position that I have here in Utah and some information that if you're interested in camp hosting that you may want to look into it. So we'll go through with this. We're up here in our upper loop. I'm sitting on a pine stump. Zen is down here laying in the pine tree underneath it getting cool. But we got to say this, all the thoughts and comments in this video are my own. They have nothing to do with the company. They have no backing. So just put that legal disclaimer out there real quick. So anyway, here we are, camp hosting. If you're interested in camp hosting, there are so many jobs available throughout the summer and yearly, pretty much all over the country. And there are a lot of companies that are recruiting and hiring people for camp hosting jobs. Um, the company I work for is called American Land and Leisure. They've been doing this for about 32 years, I think, and they're based out of Utah. Here in Utah is their home office, and they have campgrounds, national forest campgrounds, and in 7 different states. So, and depending on you know what you're looking for and where you want to go, you can actually be camp host probably year round. Like if you went to Florida, you can have a year round camp host. If you're here in Utah or the high elevation, your campground time is going to be a little less because of the snow and the early closure. My time here was from May 20th until September 2nd. I know some other people have uh, longer time, like in Colorado. A friend of mine is a camp host, and he's there till middle of October because he's at a lot lower elevation. So, if you're looking for a camp host job, um, we'll give you some ups and downs and some thoughts, and how do you get it, and what are the rewards and benefits that you get out of it. So we'll go on right along with this. Is the best way to get it is apply online. Look for like if you want American Land and Leisure, work campers, or there's so many different kinds. I don't know all of them, but you can just apply online and put in your name, and you can get on their email list. So you can get an update every week or so of different campgrounds that are available in the country. With this company, you can get one in 7 different states, as I mentioned. So you'll get an email and have a whole list of things, and it'll tell you about the location, is the key thing, and the elevation, and what amenities you might have. Some you may have full hookups, some you may have zero hookups. In my campground here, I have water and sewer, but no electricity. And some campgrounds you'll have everything. So it tells you on the campground application information what's available at the certain campground. Also tells you how many sites there are, tells you how many hours per week they would like you to work, and it's a really good information. And if you don't like that one, you can look for something else. If you find one that you like, you can apply for it online, right there on the internet, and apply online. And they're probably calling you because I think there's usually always a shortage of camp hosts for some reason, but they're still looking for a camp host as now for different in some different states. But as we said before, once you get a job, you go through the background check, etc., and you get each area has got its own district. Like we are in the Cedar City district, so I have a Cedar City district manager, and he's the one that handles 9 campgrounds in this area. So there's a lot of camping, and especially in national forest. And if you ever want to know who and what and where, if anybody's been camping, you just see these little envelopes. They're all over the place. On the back, it says right here, it's USDA Forest Service fee area under special use permit to American Land and Leisure. As I said, all these campgrounds are leased from the U.S. government by a private concessionaire, depending on whether it's our company or anybody's company, and so it's all maintained by the private concessionaire, but it's still owned and ran by the U.S. Forest Service. For instance, on this one, the before you even open up, you get inspection by the Forest Service. They come through and go through the whole campground and point out things that need to be repaired, whether it's low importance or high importance. And then they'll come back in the middle of the season and again at the end of the season to do their checks again to see whether the information that they gave you is been followed up and taken care of. And I think if you don't follow up and take care of what they want, it's a pretty good chance they could cancel a contract for that campground or for that district. So, but anyway, here we are, like I said, in beautiful Colorado, and sorry, wrong state, in beautiful Utah. We'll get the right one. We'll give some information. We're in the upper loop, and behind me is Navajo Lake. And just for information, like, what is the campground? What benefits you get? What costs? What pay do you get? Etc. Um, and every district is different. Every campground is going to be a little different on that, but most of them will be like a minimum wage job. So here in Utah, I get minimum wage, and then I'm asked to work 25 hours a week, and then I get free Starlink because they provide Starlink, because out here there's no electricity, which means there's no cell service. So we have to have Starlink, and every district is different. So you may not get a Starlink if you have cell service. So we got Starlink, and then we also, since we don't have electricity, if you run on a generator, and then our district provides you 5 gallons of gas a week for your generator. Kind of help things off. So, and you get to stay in a great spot for, pretty much free. You do have to go through, and do your duties. So we'll go on towards the middle of the video, towards the end, and kind of go what the duties are in the camp hosting thing. So, but first I want to say, like, this is, a USDA, United States Department of Agriculture Forest Service fee-based campground. And pretty much all of them are going to be fee-based. So if you see signs like this or this, and for those who don't know what fee-based means, it costs money. So those signs that are just previous, if you see those, you're going to have to pay money to either camp here, day camp here, or just use the area. So be prepared. This company right now in the U.S. Forest Service only takes cash or check. Some may take credit cards depending on where you're located. We can't take credit cards here because they're not set up on it. So cash or check, and it's been like that for generations. I mean, for years and years, the Forest Service has always taken cash or check. So we're going to go through and continue on with what a camp host does. And we'll show you some of the duties that are involved. Most of it is going to be like lawn maintenance, and then you'll have your toilet cleaning, and then you'll have your customer service and reservations and etc. So we'll kind of go over that in a little bit and give you an idea what it is. So if you're interested in becoming a camp host, you can comment down below and ask about it, or you can go to any of the go online and put camp host jobs, and they'll pop up all kinds of information that you can find. So like I said, every camp host will have a different duties. Every camp will have different things, in every region, district, state, etc. will have different pay and different requirements. So just depends on what you're looking for. So we'll go on here in a minute, and we're going to show you what a few things a camp host does in the daily events um, in the life of a camp host. So stay with us. One thing camp host does is they're the eyes and ears of the campground. Basically, you're the one that's in charge. You're the manager of this area or your area, and you have to make sure you know what's going on, so nothing gets out of hand. Everyone's calm and nice, and everybody's got a place to go and camp. Enjoy the water if there is water in your area, or day use if there's a day use area, and do other things. So you got to keep an eye and ears on everything. Also, we're the wood salesman, so we sell wood. So if you don't bring any wood or run out, we could sell you some wood. Yes, welcome to not the best scenic site, but here we are to discuss more about camp hosting. As mentioned earlier, that if you're the camp host, you are the first contact with the customers, employees, and the what happens in your campground. So we don't have really much authority on doing anything. Like we can't enforce any kind of laws or whatever because we're not law enforcement. But if somebody doesn't have their generators turned off at 10 o'clock at night and they're causing noise, have too much music, too loud, dogs running loose, or uh, ATVs running around the park, or different things. And ATVs are different every campground, but they're not allowed in this campground, only for going in and out. So if they come through the park, you can have it, uh, ask them to leave. So, but as I said, not having really too much authority because we're just a camp host, a manager. But if something happens that we can go over and tell the person, like, hey, you need to, did you know that your generator's still on and it's after quiet hours? You need to turn that off if you could, because you may be bothering other people, or did you know that we have a leash requirement that your dogs need to be on leash for their safety and other people's safety, etc. And if they don't follow along with it, then once you've done your position and advise the camper that what may be wrong, then you can call, as we do, we call our boss, and he comes over, and if they don't listen to what he says, then he'll call the sheriff. And so we'll go through that, and a lot of times if you don't follow from what the boss says, the sheriff will kick you out. So that's just rules of the camping world, and just be ready to participate in any kind of um, negativity you may have on some of the campers, because not everybody follows the rules. But anyway, what we do as a camp host, I do a lot of this, just sitting and staring out over the area, because I'm only asked to work 25 hours a week, 7 days. And so I usually have one day off, which means I still go ahead and clean the bathrooms and then make sure they got toilet paper, and then take a day off. So I'm running 4 hours on most of the days, and one day I work about 5 hours. And as I mentioned before, a lot of that is yard maintenance and cleanup and etc. But one thing we do is we handle reservations. The reservations are done online on recreation.gov. So we get a report every day of who's coming in, and the report will say what site they're going to be in, their name, how many people, and how many days they're going to be here. So it's up to the camp host to fill out one of these. This is our area. Like I said, every camp might be different, but we use these, recreation.gov reserved, and we'll put the dates in and the dates out, and then put them on the signpost, the number post, so people know when they get here. If they're in say number 3, and they have a reservation, they can park there. But we do that. And also we have first come, first serve. So we do these. Let me grab this real quick. The same envelope we had earlier. We hand these out and make sure people get these to pay for their first come, first serve, because it is fee-based area. It is cost per night. And then we have on here the cost, the tent site or the RV site. And then you'll have the day in and day out and how many people. And if they have an extra vehicle, there's additional charge for that. If they bring a ATV or a motorcycle or something with wheels on it, there's extra charge for that. So, and they want firewood, we can put that on there too. So this covers a lot of information on that. We have to hand it out or make sure the the campers get those, and make sure they pay for their stay, and then also return back into the fee tubes, which everyone's seen are buried in the ground, and they're just ginormous round metal fee tube that you have to deposit your money in. So that's part of what we do as camp hosts. Is, like I said, we're usually the first contact with the campers. A lot of them, will just come in and they've been camping for a while. They know just to drive right to their site. They have their paperwork, and hopefully their site is ready to be. It's been cleaned, it's empty, and no one else has squeezed their car in there and try to use it. So we'll go into that in just a few minutes too, of some of the issues we have with the with campers. So we'll go on with that in just a minute, and we'll cover some more of what a camp host does. We'll kind of show you a little bit, just briefly show you, because everybody knows what it is, but we're going to kind of just do a little visual of what the what you do when you're in a camp host. Besides enjoy yourself and relax and watch over the neighborhood, because you're this is your camp. You're in charge, so you're the one that has to manage it, and you're the one that has to host people. So this is like your house, and then these are like your backyard. So you have to make sure that everybody, kind of maintains themselves and has a good time. Here's one thing we do. Our company provides our campground with golf carts. So we are able to putt around and make our rounds and just be visual and do a couple, 3 sweeps and make sure the bathrooms are stocked up and clean. So here we go. And this campground I have is very small. It's only 11 sites with a 10 site. So we like to just putt around. Like there's the bus, so not very far away. One thing to do is I stop in 2 or 3 times a day to make sure that the bathrooms in here are hopefully clean and they're stocked with toilet paper. That's the most important thing. Yep, we're good. And yep, we're good. Make sure the toilet paper is usable and make sure the toilets are clean, make sure the floor is clean. Like I said, I do this about 3 times a day. Morning I come down and clean it, and then in the afternoon come down and check on toilet paper, and in the evening make another stop because all the toilet paper will be gone, and we don't want the campers to come into the bathroom and not have toilet paper. And then we go on to check campsites. And we check campsites after people have left for the day. And this is the reserve site, so we have people coming in. So I make sure my reserve signs are up. There's one on that post, and there's one on the post over here for the people and their days. And I always check for cleanliness, check for any kind of trash left in the fire pit, and make sure it's good and clean. We like people to have clean fire pits because, contrary to modern belief, people, beer cans and aluminum foil don't burn. So you'd be surprised how many times we find beer cans, foil, plastic, and everything else thrown in the fire pit. So we clean those out. We make sure the tent area is clean and ready to go for another tent, and make sure there's no trash around the area. This one is ready to go. Sometimes we sweep and blow off the concrete and make sure it's ready to go. One thing you do is, as a camp host, a lot of bathrooms. I'm not going to show you how to clean bathrooms because everybody knows how to do that. So, and sometimes it comes out smelling like roses. And then other times you may have, oh my gosh, what happened in here? Oh, looks like a police crime scene in there. Well, guess I've got to go get my hazmat suit on. And here's another thing camp ghosts do a lot of. And once you eat all the weeds, you have to go through and get them off of the pavement so that looks good and people don't slip on them. Then you bring out this thing. PPE and protection. Gotta have ear glasses, ear muffs, and glasses, goggles. And something else I do quite a bit of in the campground. Of course, this is just based on your campground or location because got a lot of trees up in this upper loop, so we get to snip some tree limbs off. And by trimming up the trees we have up here, this allows RVs and bigger vehicles to come through without scraping the sides or the roofs. And people don't like that when the side of their vehicles get scraped by a tree branch which could have been cut off. So we do a lot of that. In this area we got a lot more trees up here in the upper loop than I do down in the lower loop. So as you can tell, camp hosting is a lot of landscaping. Here's a few things as camp hosts that kind of drives everybody crazy. This is you just need to follow the signs, follow the rules, and know if anything else you don't know what's going on, stop in and ask the camp host. They will tell you, what you can, what you can't do, where you can go, where you can't go, where you can park, where you can't park, etc., etc. So please be respectful of others and enjoy the camping. If you're here for the day use, use the day use area. So this next few pieces of pictures I'm going to put up here are just some things that kind of, um, you know, kind of what I watch out for and what kind of irks the camp host and also the campers sometimes. Because this first one, we'll put right over here somewhere, maybe over here, is this. Don't park in reserved parking spots if it's not yours. This happens all the time. We have people parking in reserved spots to just go hang out the day and walk around and look around, and you have to go run them out because reserved mean that someone has paid for them, and either they're coming to take their site or they just went out to do something and they're coming back to retake the site. And the picture, this one here, picture you're seeing is somebody had already paid for it, and they left their chair and their firewood and something else there, and people still pulled in and started camping. I mean, they set up and had lunch and were playing on the beach. So that is something that, don't do that. All right. The second picture is going to be this one. It's kind of similar the same way. It wasn't a reserve spot, but just don't pull into any open spot and decide you want to have lunch. They are for camping only. Find a picnic spot in the picnic area. So what happens is when you pull in there and you park and you set up for a camping, you set up for a picnic or you want to play around, the person who wants to camp won't have a site. And then they leave, and then whenever the person that's having their picnic lunch will leave, you won't have another person come in that night sometimes. So you have an empty spot when it could have been filled with a camper. So that is that. So don't do that either. All right. And the third thing here is this one, another one is be respectful of the bathrooms. I don't know how many times I've gone into the bathroom and it looked like, you know, that. Shredded toilet paper and just trash everywhere. Why does it, have to be like that? Pick up your paper. Is people have problems unrolling toilet paper? I don't know. Um, but don't do that. And also, this brand new bathroom, 3 weeks old. Somebody has already scratched or keyed the front door of the bathroom. And this is the second time. First time was the second day it was open. Somebody kicked the door several times, footprints all over. And then today, I noticed that the door had been scratched up with a rock or something sharp. Um, but don't do that. If you vandalize anything in the national park or in a campground, if you're caught, you're going to get a ticket and you're going to get kicked out. So you're going to have a hefty fine to pay for damages, and sheriff will not be happy. We won't be happy. So we'll have to get rid of that. You can't have the people coming in and just tearing the place up. Because once that happens, as everybody knows, once people start coming and trashing places up, places start getting closed down. So don't do that. All right, and that's the few things I've noticed. Like I said, and just be respectful and obey the signs. And if anything else, just ask the camp host. Please. It makes it easier on the camp host, the campers, the people visiting, and just to have a good, um, rapport of where you can park, where you can have lunch, where you can camp, etc. Don't just come in and take over the place. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to the mini rave about the camp host. It's really not that bad, but it's just a few things that kind of get you going. And you got to think about it. The camp host, camp manager, you're the liaison, you're the front runner, you're the person that people come to for information on the campground and the area around it. A lot of people are desperate to find a campsite, and a lot of times there isn't any. So they're driving for hours and they can't find a place to stay. So you got to be respectful of that, and do what you can, help them out, and just do your due diligence and just be the first contact or a good contact, and that leaves a um, good contact with the customer or the camper. One benefit I've had from being a camp host, camp manager, has been just the amount of great people that I have met so far this summer. Um, just I've had no problem with most of them. Is every once in a while you have a little issue, but nothing crazy. We've had a pretty quiet campground, no big problems, but just a great amount of great people from all over the world have been here. And I've had dinner with a few of them. They invited me over for dinner. I've had dinner brought to me from different places, different people, and I've had different little gifts of from the campers, and that shows that if you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. So I mean, you can only push that so far because they can't let them overtake everything. So but yeah, be respectful, be nice to the people, and they'll be nice to you. And and they'll leave a good sense, a good taste in their mouth that when they come back next year, and a lot of them do. A lot of these people are repeat campers. Every year they come back to the same place, um, and they like to see the same camp host. But not always happens. But there's one little thing. I've had two or three people say, "Oh, hey Tom, how long you been doing this camp host job?" I said, "Since May." And they go like, "Oh, well it shows because you're so happy about it." Usually when camp hosts have been around for 3 or 4 more years, so they get really mean and grumpy. And I said, "Well, thank you. And I can understand why they get mean and grumpy. But you just got to put on a happy face and, you know, go with it." So we'll just go on into finalize this. But yeah, it's been a really good good experience, and I've enjoyed it. And I'll probably come back to do it next year at the same place. And we'll finish up the video kind of like where we started, sitting on a stump. So that's kind of the host duties that you run into when you're doing camp hosting. Some of it could be physically challenging. So if you have like a mobility issues or problem with breathing at high altitudes, like we're at 9,000, almost 200 feet, it may not be the job for you. But if you can, you can do the work and go to a lower elevation, there's plenty of camps that you can go there. So that's it for the video. If you got any questions, please put them down in the comments. And as you can see behind me, we've got some rain coming in. So this is the monsoon season here in Utah. This will be the fourth day we've had rain come through in the afternoon. So hopefully it's not too bad. One day we had about a half-inch of hail. And so, but other than that, it's just been rain, which is needed in the forest. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, etc. Do all the things that you're supposed to do on YouTube if you want. And we're going to go on and get this upper campsite. I'm sorry, this upper campground ready to open up pretty soon. So thanks for watching. See you guys around the campsite.